My name's Drew Ramsey. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I've lived in Nashville since 1989. I'm a writer, producer, guitar player, have a studio, teach songwriting at Belmont, and still write almost every day. Write and produce every day, still have a publishing deal, and still happy to be saying I am a professional songwriter after all this time. The top three things. Well, I knew 3 people in Nashville, and I packed my car up with all my stuff, my CDs and my books and my guitar, and I moved here. Showing up was the first big thing I did. The next thing I did was I kind of found my tribe of people. I found people that I felt like were making the kind of music that were passionate about the same kind of music that I was. Regardless of whether that was popular, I found my tribe. The third thing was I kind of played off the build it and they will come. I put a studio in the back of my house, built out a little vocal booth, did the best I could to create a space, a creative space, and just waited. Put in the work and the time, and I waited for it to happen. It took a while, but it finally did, so I think those were the top 3. Probably a mistake that a lot of people make, that I made as well, was when it started taking off, I felt like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. Everything that I've done has worked, and now it's all downhill. That's really when the real work began. Right when it started happening, I should have understood I still know nothing. Like, I still have to learn every single day. And I probably kept good things from happening at that point. So if I could go back, I would say, don't try to control anything. Let it happen. Let your life happen to you, instead of thinking you can control things. Shannon and I we've worked for over 20 years together now. I was in a band, and the trumpet player would come over to my apartment. It's a very small apartment, and even as far back as 1989, I had a sampler and a keyboard hooked up to a computer, and he just looked at me and he said, dude, you're a guitar player, what are you doing, man? You don't. And I was like, no, man, this is the future right here, samplers and programming. And he said, I know one other guy that does that, and you guys should meet. And that's Shannon Sanders, and that was it. Once we met, we knew. We both played live instruments and we both sang, but we loved mixing that with digital recording. I think that goes back to the finding your tribe. If friends around you, people that you trust, they're in your inner circle, are telling you, here's this person that you don't know, you should collaborate. You should. If I had limited myself, then I would not have met the most important musical person in my life. So there again, out of my own stupidity, I'm glad that I didn't get in my own way at that point. If there's a theme to what I'm saying, it's again imposing too much on a song, or imposing too much on a co-write or a situation. You know, you come in with a certain level of expectation, and that immediately begins to work against a great song, because you want to force it. I came today with this expectation that I'm going to write this with this person, and you keep trying to force the song that way, then that's going to be the destruction of that song. I think the song has to be more important than any of the collective people in the room or individual people. I don't care how big the artist is that's there that day or the other co-writer. The song should be the pinnacle of what's going to happen in that room that day. Thinking that if the song doesn't come together in the first meeting, that it's not a good song. I think one of the things that seems to be bred around Nashville is that people go into a room at 10 o'clock and they come out at 1 o'clock with a hit. And that's just not true. There's a lot of rewriting that occurs. A great idea or germ of an idea can happen in that first meeting. But often that takes getting back together and trying again, or, hey, let's see if we can beat that chorus. You know, some songs are built. They don't just happen. It's not like a song fairy shows up and places a hit song under your pillow. This is a little more mechanical. One of the biggest mistakes I see is not that a writer doesn't have a great inline, or what we call the hook, you know, the title of the hook at the end of the chorus. The line before that, I would say I consistently see people miss an opportunity on what I call the setup line before their hook, because that's really like, it's almost like a joke. It's like that line you tell right before you tell the punchline. So a lot of writers have their punchline, but the line right before it isn't right. It doesn't set up their hook. I see that like consistently a lot. I have to say either assessment or discernment. Like every writing situation, every song is so different, every co-write is so different. The ability to walk in and assess, where do I fit into this song, or where do I fit into this co-write? I often kind of allude to like a toolbox. Like if someone said, I need this fixed in my house, and you show up with your toolbox. Sometimes you walk in and you look and you go, well, you said this light is not working. It's because it's not plugged in. And that's it. Some songs are like that. Like it's like, this is so close. Man, if we just did that, voila, there's the song. Some days you walk in and you look and you realize, all right, we're gonna have to tear this whole wall out, and I need to open my toolbox, I gotta get my tools out. And I think now I've learned a little bit more about just, let's sit back and really think about how I can help this song, you know, without imposing too much upon it.
Stones or Beatles?
It would have initially been the Stones. I used to call the Beatles the Beatles, but I'd have to say Beatles now.
You guys or y'all?
Y'all, for sure.
Monopoly or Clue?
Monopoly.
Mohawk or mullet?
Look at me, man, I'm mullet.
80s or 90s?
80s.